Here we have a 2014 or 2015 MacBook Air. It was dropped in because customer said it stopped powering on. He said the screen was flickering and then suddenly it would not come on. I asked the customer if there's any liquid damage on the laptop and he said no. So we already disassembled the back cover here so we can take a look at the board, and no signs of liquid by just looking at the board, but sometimes we cannot see it unless we look at the board under a microscope. Let's try to power it on to verify if the laptop does power on or not, and it does power on. We do see the fan spinning here, so laptop is powering on. No backlight, and we do see a dim Apple logo. I do not know if it's visible, but we do see a dim Apple logo, so we have a backlight issue. Laptop is powering on, it's working good. Image comes on the screen, but because there's no backlight, we're not able to see what's on the screen. We've done a lot of MacBook Airs with backlight issues. Let's inspect the LVDS connector and see if there's anything obvious there. Okay, so that's the LVDS connector. We do see some corrosion, but should not be a big deal. Let me test this component to make sure it's continuous. This is good. And pins are solid. No damage. Let me unplug the screen cable just to make sure the pins there are good and everything, the cable looks good. Let's test the backlight fuse. It's good. Now we did not disassemble the board and I did not look on back of the board, but before I take the board out, I just want to inspect this area to see if the problem is coming from this area or from back of the board. Let's use our steel brush here. The brush has very fine steel hair. It's not going to scratch the board, but it will clean it good. Very useful when trying to clean corrosion, glue, adhesive, underfill, overfill. And now we can use the other end of the brush to just clean in between. Dry wipe to absorb the alcohol. And back like new. What I want to check is the feedback trace. Feedback trace is known to break on MacBook Airs, and we have a video on that. This is the feedback trace right here. I just want to make sure that the trace is not broken. If the trace is good, then we're going to have to disassemble the board, and problem is most likely the backlight driver chip. The trace should be connecting from here to here. So this whole thing should be one pad. Usually the trace breaks from the center like you see here, but we do not know if this trace is broken or not. We can scratch this area and test. It looks good. It looks like it's making a continuous path, but we're gonna test anyway. And it's good. So right now, the way I see it, problem is from the backlight driver chip, which is located on back of the board. I'm gonna take a minute to disassemble the board and I'll be back. I disassembled the board and we do see a red dot here, which is an indication that the board may have suffered liquid damage. Let's take a closer look. I do see corrosion on this part of the board, which is not backlight related, but it could cause future issues, so we may want to clean that corrosion. We do see signs of liquid. And when I see something like this, I would rather clean it than leave it on the board, even though it's not gonna fix our backlight issue. So let's use the steel part of the brush to clean corrosion. Just like that. You see, because the hair is soft, super fine steel hair, it does not scratch the board, but it cleans corrosion like you've never seen before. Okay, anything else? And we have more corrosion here. I mean, if corrosion was severe, then we would reflow, so components do not just disappear. And we have more corrosion here. Look at this, we have more corrosion here. So the board is functional, but a lot of corrosion on there. And this is the other end of the brush. That's only one side of the board. And this is the feedback trace that we scratched here. Let's flip the board. Back of the board looks good. We're gonna get to the backlight driver IC, but I just wanna quickly run through the board. And look at the backlight driver. We're gonna go ahead and replace the chip. Pin number 1 is on the bottom here. And I'm at 370 degrees, not enough. Hot air is currently at 470 degrees Celsius. And that looks horrible. Let's clean up. We're gonna apply flux. And a lot of people are still asking, what type of flux are you using? I have a link down below in the description, but people still ask every video. This is the Amtech 559 flux. You can find it on our website. Just log in to NorthridgeFix.com, click on shop, and you'll find it there, or you can search for 559. Get rid of the glare. Just a little bit of flux, and we're gonna wick off those solder bolts. Okay, so what we're gonna do is apply flux, and we're gonna solder a new backlight chip. And this is the LP8550. We have a lot of items that we're going to be posting to our shop. A lot of components for Nintendo Switch, a lot of components for MacBooks, iMacs. We have all the parts here at the shop. We're just waiting to add all those components onto our shop so you can buy them. That's the chip right here. Okay. Now that the chip is in place, we can reflow it and tap it to make sure that it's soldered on properly. We're just waiting to see the chip settle down in place. Unless it's perfectly in place, then it's not gonna move. Just like that. And now we're gonna tap it. And the job is done. Chip is soldered on properly. And if we take a look at the solder balls, by tilting the board like this, right there, look at how nice the solder balls are. Look at this. So now there's no reason why backlight would not work on this MacBook. And now all we have to do is try it. And we'll see. There's probably a 99.9% chance that backlight is going to work again. Screen is plugged in. We're going to plug in the DC board. Let's plug in the keyboard as well. And we do see some corrosion on the keyboard connector. Okay, keyboard is connected. I'm going to grab the hard drive. Hard drive is in. And the battery connector, very good. Let's see. Power it on. I do not have the fan connected yet, but I just want to see if backlight will come on. So far, no backlight and no image. Let's wait. On MacBook Airs, it can take a couple of tries to boot up if battery is disconnected and reconnected. Oh, wait a minute. Battery is not connected. I connected the battery to back of the board. I thought it was in. Okay. Turn it on, and do we have a backlight? I'm looking at the screen and not at the laptop. It can take a couple of tries before it boots up if the battery is disconnected and reconnected, and it's working. Backlight is working. We don't have a fan connected, so I do not want to keep it on for longer than I should, but laptop is working. Just gonna wait until it boots up. And it's good. I do not want to show you the username, but it's good. Awesome, awesome. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll do something else in the next video.